All right, here we are, 1 month into 2025. There's no more waiting, no more wondering. All the cards are on the table, and that means we get to see things for what they really are. Some people are calling it a shock and awe campaign. To me, it's just movement. It's clarity. We're seeing actions being taken, and we don't have to guess anymore. That is free. January has felt like a clearing energy. Things are being revealed, and we have a chance to take stock of where we stand. I find it invigorating, but I know for some, it's also overwhelming. So let's talk about that for a moment. What is real progress, and what is just noise out there? And then more importantly, where are we in all of this chaos?
Gonna find your path, gonna lead the way. Stride through the storm, never go astray. Whisper truth and let your spirit roar. Your force of nature, crash upon the shore.
So I want to talk about the shifts we've seen in January, not just in tech or politics, but actually in how humanity is evolving. AI is no longer some distant concept. It's here. And the real question we're looking at now isn't what is AI doing, it's how are we using it? You hear about DeepSeek, OpenAI, and all the AI drama. Yeah, it's all interesting, but what matters more is how AI is shaping us. It's changing the way we work, it's changing the way we think, and it's even changing the way we communicate with each other. AI has this habit of gravitating us toward the average. It'll filter, it smooths, and it makes things more predictable, which can be helpful, but it's also limiting. I've personally seen how AI can be a powerful tool. It helped me create content, it's helped me organize massive amounts of information, and even generate some custom music and visuals. It's incredible, and it's fun if you use it intentionally. But here's the flip side. Not everyone is using it with good intent. I've seen a rise of spam bots on LinkedIn and Facebook, AI-generated misinformation. People are flooding the internet with just noise. And if we're not careful, AI will start deciding what it is we see and what we hear. It may even start influencing what we believe. So here's my advice. Take control of your digital experience. Curate what you engage with. If something drains you, stop feeding it your attention. You got to give your algorithms feedback. So go like what actually serves you, right? Block the things that don't, or put not interested or something. Always pause before reacting. If something online makes you feel an urgent need to act, set a 24-hour timer. If it's still relevant after that, then engage with it. I had to go through this myself a few years ago. My social media feeds were filled with negativity, conspiracy theory, and fear-based content. And you know what? It made me an absolute nervous wreck. It was designed to keep me in that state of fear and urgency so they could push me to purchase when they wanted, right? So I cut it all out. I removed the complainers, the clickbait, the pressure to be in a constant state of reaction, and I replaced it with what actually helps me grow. I gotta tell you, it has changed everything for me. My interaction with social media and the internet is so much better. You just have to curate that experience to where it's really providing you the value you want. And speaking of filtering out the noise, let's talk about learning. Where do we even go to educate ourselves in 2025, right? Traditional education is shifting. Colleges, they're still there, but let's be honest, I don't think they're the gatekeepers of knowledge anymore. Information is flowing pretty freely across the internet. So where should we look for good education, for good information? And we can go to YouTube, sure. This is a great starting point. Online courses, yeah, but we have to be wary of the hype. Everyone's trying to sell you something. Books are fantastic, so absolutely. But even then, who's writing the book and why? For me, some of the most powerful learning has come from just immersion, learning by doing, testing, failing, and trying again. Just getting in there and experiencing it. On that note, one of the most transformative books for me was Dr. Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. The book changed my perspective on really honestly what's possible. And you know how I heard about it? It was by complete accident. I was listening to a random motivational montage, and his words hit me like a ton of brick. If your mind can make you sick, doesn't it make sense that your mind could also make you whole? I didn't even know who Joe Dispenza was. I had never heard his name before. But then, the very next day, my therapist recommended his book to me. That was my confirmation. I was meant to learn from that book. So, what about you? What are you learning? And more importantly, how do you verify what's worth learning out there? I'd love to hear from you. And speaking of knowledge, let's go way back for a minute, like way back. Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, the painted wild boar statue they just found. These sites are rewriting history. And it's no wonder that we're drawn to this, because something feels off in our modern world, right? Science told us we had things all figured out, but do we? If we were so advanced, why are we struggling right now? Ancient civilizations thrived without our modern technology. They had systems that worked. They built incredible structures. They had deep knowledge of the stars, and they lived in harmony with nature. So for me, the real question isn't just what did they know that we don't know? It's why aren't we doing better? If January was about orientation, February I feel is going to be about direction. How do we know we're moving in the right direction? It can be fairly simple. It should feel better if we're moving in the right direction. We should be seeing more of what we want showing up in our experience. We should be having more of the right conversations. We should feel more aligned, more clear, and more empowered. And if we're not feeling that, then it's time for us to recalibrate, to check our signals, adjust our path, because we're not stuck, but we may need to redirect ourselves some. And so this brings me to the real question I wanted to ask for this video. What is it that you want? Not what is the world telling you, and not what are YouTube algorithms pushing at you, but what do you want? I see a lot of videos that are saying don't do this and stop and all this, giving a lot of direction, but no one's really asking, what do you want? So I want to ask, drop a comment, let's start a conversation, because this isn't about me telling you what to do. This is about all of us figuring out where we're going together. So put what you want in the comments. Let's have a chat about it. What's calling you forward? What do you want to see more of? And what's pulling at your curiosity? I'll be reading the comments, I'll be responding, and we can explore these things together. Because the next move, it's on all of us.
Find your path, gonna lead the way. Stride through the storm, never go astray. Always the truth and let your spirit roar. You're a force of nature, crash upon the shore.